Social Street provides personal service at or below self-serve prices while you remain in the comfort of your vehicle. And unlike other stations, it's the same price, cash or credit. A smarter, safer way to buy gas. Murphy's Gas, 1023 Social Street, Woonsocket. Saturday's weather, sunshine and 37 and a light breeze. Sunday, mostly sunny and 39. Monday, partly sunny skies and 42 with a calm wind. Tuesday, a 30% chance of some rain, mostly cloudy skies, but a high near 49. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high of 47. And Thursday, a chance of rain again, mostly cloudy with a high of 47 degrees.
And currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street, we have 24 cloudy degrees. I think this is going to be the end of the bitter cold. Good morning. Welcome to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with my co-host Pat Holland. Top of the morning, Pat. How's it going?
It's going well. Glad to be here.
Great week of sports. Thanks again last week to Austin Rook for joining us in studio. We hope to have him back. He said he enjoyed himself. We'll take him at his word. He was great. Things have gotten real interesting around here, Pat, and the supposed slow time in the schedule. So, we'll be getting into the Four Nations hockey tournament, which just concluded Thursday. And for the first time, I think since COVID anyway, maybe even a little bit before, the Red Sox are relevant in the month of February. So a lot going on. And Pat, let's take the lead here and get us going. We'll do the local stuff and the Four Nations and lots of hockey, and we want to hear from you today. So take it away, Pat.
Yeah, college basketball, double-figure scoring efforts from Rafael Pinzon and Barry Evans would not be enough as Bryant's men's basketball team fell to the Vermont Catamounts on Thursday evening in Burlington, Vermont. With the loss, Bryant falls to 17-11 overall and 11-2 in the American East play. The Black and Gold continue their three-game road stretch next Thursday, February 27th, at UMass Lowell, then at Maine, and they'll finish up their season at home against UNH. On Thursday, Vermont held Bryant without a field goal for the final minute and 49 seconds, although Bryant did miss 4 foul shots, which were crucial. TJ Hurley would lead the Catamounts with 17 points on 7 of 19 shooting. Pinzon finished with 17 on 6 of 20 shooting from the field and 4 of 6 marked from the charity stripe. Evans posted 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Timberlake tallied 8 points and 8 boards. Bryant still 11-2 in America East. They hold on to a 1-game advantage over Vermont, but playing Maine, they're, again, 2 games behind. So it does look like hopefully Bryant will close it out, win the America East going into the tournament.
Basically, in my opinion, that you take care of UNH, take care of UMass Lowell. The big game will be at Maine. Maine, 8-4 now as opposed to 11-2. Probably aren't fighting for first place, but guess who is? It's Vermont.
Yeah.
Who's won 5 in a row. Vermont, whenever you're filling out your brackets in March, it's always Vermont. They're that team. Obviously, they're only sending America East is only sending one team. Would love to see it be Bryant. And then let Bryant have home court advantage throughout the whole America East tournament. Even if they do fall out of first, they'll get a lot of home games. They just won't have the final home game. So hopefully, Bryant finishes strong these last couple games, go into the America East tournament as the number 1 seed. And people can get over to Bryant University, go up to the Chase Athletic Center and catch some postseason basketball.
Right.
Probably for a lot cheaper than going to the NCAA tournament, wherever the Final Four is, or even in Providence, which is probably sold out. So, all right, the URI Rams 17-8 overall, just 6-7 in the A10. Had 6 different players scoring double figures for the 3rd time this season while shooting 60% from the floor, their best showing this year, in an 86-61 over LaSalle last Saturday afternoon. They steadily built their lead in the first half, stretching it to double digits on a Jaden House pull-up jumper. At the 8:14 mark, pushed the score at 30-19. Though the offense cooled off down the stretch, going nearly 4 minutes without a point, the team remained in the front of the half 38-34. Came out of the locker room with a 6-point swing that opened the advantage back up to 10. Though the margin shifted in size, the smallest the Explorers were able to cut it down to was 5. let's see. Rhodey kept their foot on the gas, earning back-to-back conference wins for the first time this year. They play today at St. Louis for a 2:30 tip-off before returning home Wednesday against Dayton. Counting today, Rhodey has just 5 games left in the season. The A-10 Conference Basketball Championship returns to the Capital One Arena in D.C. March 12th through the 16th, with the league title and an NCAA tournament bid on the line. When they play the A-10, all 15 teams are invited. The bottom 6 start things off. And then there's like 2 levels of buys. And like the mid seeds get a 1 buy, get the first seed buy. And the top, I don't know if it's 3 or 4, but they get like basically 2 buys.
Right.
And just, quick look at the A10. But 1, maybe 2 teams this year, I think, from the A10 will go to the tournament.
Yeah, and I think that's been, unless somebody, again, even if somebody wins the tournament that isn't expected to and gets that automatic bid, it still might end up knocking one of the teams that you think would be in out. So
exactly.
And then, whereas all 15 make it in the A10 tournament, only 4 advance in the Ivy League tournament.
Which we were joking about before.
Right.
Like, why doesn't the Ivy League go to a bigger format? And we thought they probably changed it back in the 50s from 2 to 4, and then they
tradition.
don't budge.
Right. And the Ivy League tournament's being held at the Pizzatola Center on the campus of Brown University. Brown with another busy weekend in hoops. Last night they hosted Columbia, took care of business 86-61. The Bears are right back at it tonight as they host Cornell at 6 in what has now become a huge game for them. Brown's officially listed in 4th place on the Ivy League standings, tied with Cornell. After today, they will either be in the driver's seat or drop back down to 5th. Cornell has lost 4 in a row, whereas Brown has won 3. The Bears have just 3 games left in their season, at Harvard, at Dartmouth, and then home to Yale, who's undefeated in the Ivy League at 10-0 currently. But then things get interesting. So, Ivy League, Yale's going to wrap the regular season up in first, but then everyone's within reach. So Dartmouth's tied for second with Princeton at 6-4, and then Brown and Cornell tied for 4th at 5-5. Harvard is also 4-6, and then Penn rounds it out 3-7, and then Columbia at 1-9 sits at the bottom. So Brown needs to take care of business if they want to stay in the coveted top 4 spot, and essentially what would be home court advantage in the Ivy League tournament. They did last year as the number 4 seed, so hopefully they can do it again this year.
Yeah, and again, their last game of the year is against Yale, who's undefeated, as you mentioned. So if they can somehow secure a spot before the game against Yale, maybe Yale takes some players off, sit some guys, and if they can sneak into the 4 spot, if they can somehow sneak into the 2-3 spot,
right,
that'd be golden. The one with Yale being undefeated, hold off, don't play them as long as possible. But
right.
But Brown did it last year as the 4 seed. I forget where the tournament was last year, but if they can get home court, that'd be huge. So we've been talking all year about Bryant being Rhode Island's only legitimate shot at advancing to the tournament. Browns played themselves into position where they can be considered as well now. Over at Providence College, a disappointing loss to Georgetown, 93-72. PC led 16-13 about halfway through the first half, but Georgetown finished the first half on a 19-3 run, never looked back, cruising in the second half. Apparently, this is always an emotional game. It was at Georgetown. Ed Cooley, the coach of Georgetown, former PC, I guess his mom had passed away. Players have said, we wanted to win this one for coach. PC's been, struggling all year with their injuries and games like this. They play very inconsistent. That's what they say. That's the most consistent thing about Providence College is their inconsistency. So
right.
PC next plays Tuesday at Marquette. Back home for senior day next Saturday against UConn, who has a huge game against St. John's coming up at noon. And, will UConn make the tournament? That's what they're playing for. So 4 games left for the Friars before the Big East tournament. And as we've been saying for a while now, PC's only way in is to win the Big East tournament. I don't even think they get an NIT bid at this point. And I don't even know if that other tournament exists anymore. I forget what channel it was on. It was useless tournament.
It's like True TV or something.
No, it wasn't even that. It was like Impact TV. It was some Access TV. It was Access TV, which I don't even know if I get that channel anymore.
All right, switching things over to college hockey. Providence college hockey team's faring a little better than their basketball counterparts after splitting a home-and-home with the number 9 ranked Boston University Terriers. The number 8 Friars host number 13 UMass Lowell tonight over at Schneider at 6 p.m. In the all-important pairwise rankings, BC is still ranked number 1, followed by Maine, number 4, who was upset last night by UConn. BU sits at number 6. Providence College at number 8, and they are in 7th place in Hockey East currently. UConn is at number 9, UMass Lowell at number 11, and UMass Amherst, at number 13. However, after last night's Hockey East games, things may look a little different come poll time on Monday. As we mentioned, UConn upset Maine 3-2 in overtime. BC took care of business over Vermont 6-3. UMass and UNH skated to a 3-3 tie, although UNH did get the extra point in the shootout. And Northeastern beat BU, I believe, for the second time in 2 weeks.
That's
5-1.
That's the biggest upset last night.
Yep.
Northeastern's just not been having a good year at all, and for them to, I didn't see the game, but 5-1. I mean, that looks dominating.
Before we came on the air, I was talking. There is a writer out there who posts an article now every week. He'll update what he thinks the NCAA tournament brackets will look like based on current standings. He has, I think he has 5. Or was it 6?
6, I think.
Yeah. Currently, right now, he has BC, Providence, UMass Lowell, BU, UMass Amherst, and Connecticut in Maine. So 7.
Oh, he does have Amherst in there?
Yeah.
And Lowell? Okay.
Yeah, based on what UMass has done the last couple weeks. So, I didn't see UMass Lowell earlier.
Yeah, okay. So he's got all 7.
And so this guy updates it every week. I know I'll look at it every week because it's good. And then again, this is all based on current rankings, not what happens in once the tournaments take place, that the automatic bid comes out of whoever wins their tournament. So
yeah, basically if Vermont or UNH comes out of nowhere and wins Hockey East, which none of us think they will, but who knows, then that could hurt a team based on these rankings right now. That could hurt a UMass Amherst or a UMass Lowell right now.
Yeah, but not only that, it could be if another team upsets in another
in another bracket,
right? Then maybe
Brown wins and
but I'm thinking more of like the out west. If some Ohio State or
Miami of Ohio
or some random team wins that division, then maybe we lose a team out of the Hockey East, but they still get their teams in. So
right.
Interesting enough, though.
Yeah, no, it's in the Hockey East tournament's coming up. When does that start? Yeah, March 12th. Have you ever been Hockey East tournament up at the Garden?
I haven't gone to the Hockey East since Maine was in it, so it was a while ago.
That's a fun time, and doesn't always sell out, but comes close to selling out. Meaning, if you want to go and get tickets, that's a great event. That's some real good hockey. Someone I've been to the Frozen Four many times. That's Hockey East. With all these, we just called off 7 teams that we think from Hockey East that could possibly make the tournament. They only send 16, to the tournament. So it's if you get a chance to go see Hockey East, it will start. The semifinals will be at the Garden on March 20th, and then so Thursday, March 20th, and Friday, March 21st, will determine the winner of the Lamorello Trophy. And Providence actually will not have a home game. Only the top 4 seeds, and as you mentioned, PC is 7th right now, but everything's so tight. So this should be real interesting. Last night Brown, who's number 41, just to give you an update on them in the pairwise rankings, was at Princeton. They won an overtime thrill at 3-2. Ryan St. Louis, we'll go with the French-sounding name. Ryan St. Louis struck for a second goal of the night, 52 seconds into overtime, as the Brown Bears, who are 13-11-2, 9-9-1 in ECAC, completed the comeback win over Princeton, who is 5-12-2 in the ECAC. Crucial conference game Friday night at the Hobie Baker Rink. With the win, the Bears improved to 9-2-0 over their last 11 games, jumped the Harvard Crimson for 7th in the ECAC standings. Brown is 4 points back of Dartmouth and Cornell for 5th. Tonight they play at number 14 Quinnipiac, the highest ranked ECAC team, so that's a big game there. All 12 teams do make the ECAC tournament, unlike the Ivy League in basketball, with the top 4 getting a bye. That tournament will begin March 7th with single elimination games for seeds 5 through 12. Quarterfinals will feature a best of 3, I believe at the home rink, all 3 at the home rink of the higher seeds, and will run March 14th through the 16th, with the semifinals and finals at the Herb Brooks Arena in Lake Placid, and that'll be March 21st and 22nd.
Tonight, we skate with them. Herb Brooks.
We might get into that, too. We know we might be stealing some material from some of the talking heads in Boston, but they were pretty funny. And, yeah, it has the 1980 thing run its course. Yeah. In a professional hockey tournament.
Right. I think so. Anyway, Providence Bruins last night over at the Amp. Defenseman Ian Mitchell posted the game-winning goal and 2 assists, boosting the Providence Bruins past the Utica Comets 4-2. Patrick Brown and Vinny Lettieri each recorded a goal and an assist, while Tyler Pitlick sealed the game on an empty netter. Goaltender Micah DiPietro stopped 22 shots in the victory. Tonight in Hartford at 6, they'll play. They return home tomorrow to host the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Penguins. Currently, the PBs are in 3rd place, just 1 point behind the Penguins for 2nd in a tightly contested Atlantic Division, where 8 points separates 1st through 5th. I did have a little bit of insider information. I spoke to a good buddy of mine who has his ear on the wall, and some, Fabian Lysell, who is a highly touted pick.
We talked to Austin Rook about.
We talk about him a lot.
Yep.
Rumor has it that he hasn't been up in Boston because he just doesn't have it, and they're not going to bring him up because they know they whiffed on the pick, and it'll make too many people look bad. And I think the same question goes out on their most recent first-round pick, who's at Boston College, who hasn't really produced much. And from what I was told, if you put on the skates and jumped out on the ice with BC, you'd probably have as many points as he has. Okay. So just a little bit tidbit. It's unfortunate to hear that, but I think the writing has kind of been there. So
it's Austin brought it up last week briefly. Fabian, he's putting up good numbers in Providence. If there was a knock, he said maybe a little bit undersized, but my guess is the overall consistency just isn't there. Is this his 3rd year now in the program? Yeah. 3rd year in the Bruins system. We'll see if the Bruins are sellers, and maybe they can get something for him if that's the case, because if they're going to give up on him, you might as well see if they can ship him off at the deadline and see what they can get back, even if it's another draft pick. So, all right. So when we come back, let's get into the Four Nations tournament. Did you watch? Do you like it? Should it be repeated? How can it be repeated? The future. What's the future of hockey tournaments during All-Star breaks? Next year we got the Olympics, the World Cup. What are they going to do in 2027, 2029? Do you go back to the regular All-Star stuff? Compare and contrast to the NBA All-Star Game and All-Star Weekend, even the Pro Bowl. So if you have thoughts on the Four Nations Tournament, give us a call, 401-766-1240. I know I got my thoughts. Pat has his, and we know some of you out there also have your thoughts. So let's hear from you, 401-766-1240. In the cheap seats with Pat and Kevin on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, OneSocketRadio.com.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasca Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasca Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TascaBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasca Buick GMC, you will be satisfied.
At North Smithfield Urgent Care and Lincoln Urgent Care, you'll always be seen by a board-certified physician who'll diagnose your minor illness or injury. Their services include treatment for flu, fractures, rashes, ITU infections, and work-related injuries, plus physicals, vaccinations, and drug screening. North Smithfield Urgent Care, Great Road, North Smithfield, and Lincoln Urgent Care, Wake Robin Road, Lincoln. X-ray and lab on premises.
The world-class distributor of all things electrical is Electrical Wholesalers. They are a full-service electrical distributor with branches throughout Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire. Locally, they're at 113 Clinton Street next to KFC here in Woonsocket, with other locations in Cranston and Franklin, Massachusetts. Electrical Wholesalers provides the highest quality service to electrical contractors as well as residential, commercial, and industrial customers. Electrical Wholesalers is open Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. Visit ew-ne.com. Electrical Wholesalers.
We're here for you on the Talk of the Valley, ON Radio.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. We want to thank you for joining us as always. Watch us on Facebook, listen to us on OneSoccerRadio.com. All over the world on OneSoccerRadio.com. So wherever you are. So, all right. So Pat, Four Nations tournament. I know you came over to watch the other night. We had pretty good crowd. People watching the game. Well, you want to go into the tournament first, or you want to go, or you want to break down the game? It just happened 48 hours ago. Less than that, actually.
Yeah. Let's talk about the game.
All right. Sure. Shoot.
Obviously. I had a buddy of mine text me who's from Canada, who lives down here, but he had sent me a text and said, is USA going to upset Canada again? And I responded to him and said, or is Canada going to upset USA? Like, have we gotten to that point yet? And he just kind of laughed, and but I think obviously the game. Was everything we thought it would be, right?
Especially later on. I thought the first period,
little sluggish. I wouldn't say slow, but
not slow. It's very fast.
It took them a little bit to get ramped up.
Yeah.
And then as you get into the second and the third period, certainly the overtime. I think the U.S. played a little bit more physical than Canada, and it seems to be, right through the tournament.
Yeah.
They were built that way. Here's what I think. I think Canada has the advantage in the top players are still a little bit better than the U.S. top players.
Like you mean like their second and third line might be USA's first and second line?
Yeah,
kind of in a way.
Or it's like you put out there. Yeah, even if you say their top six.
Yeah.
Would be we're like 1A and 2B.
Okay.
Right, and then the bottom six, I think they're a little bit better too.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge difference, but
right.
enough where it makes especially on the front end.
Right.
You get these guys that you can't give them the opportunities that you gave them.
You can't leave McDavid all.
You can't leave McDavid wide open in front of the net.
No, that's wrong.
Yeah, and where we thought we had the advantage in goaltending. I'll give Binnington credit. I mean, this kid has.
You're right.
He stands on his head in big games.
In Boston.
In Boston, right? And I think somebody said they should, when he comes to Boston, they should call him Jordan Winnington.
Yeah, okay,
right?
Really.
But the U.S. had their chances and they just couldn't. They couldn't put it away.
I mean, Austin Matthews on the doorstep in overtime. Binnington had his two biggest saves were in the overtime period. Yeah. To your point on the bottom six, like people like Adam Fox, he only played like 10 minutes. Kachuk couldn't come back.
Yep.
A couple of the other lower, lesser guys on the didn't show up. I thought going into the tournament, before the tournament started, I thought Canada had the faster team. That was on display against Sweden in Game 1 in the overtime. But I thought USA had the better goaltending going into it. All right, let's jump into the goaltending for USA. Is Connor Hellebuck, is he a little bit on a hot seat now?
No.
70-game goalie, plays every single game for the Winnipeg Jets, gets bounced last year early in the playoffs. He's on pace to win Vezina again this year and doesn't win the big game against Canada. Again, I'm not even saying it's his fault. I mean, Connor McDavid is the best player in the world. He's going to score.
He can't, I guess if Hellenbuck could have gone out in the slot and covered him, he probably would have.
He probably would have, right?
But yeah, I mean, he played well. He made some saves. I don't, maybe one goal in that Canadian game I thought maybe was a little,
little off. The first goal of the game, I thought for Canada was just a little bit soft. Was that the one he was not really
McKinnon came up and kind of circled and shot back across his body, and there were bodies going across in front of him, but that's a save I think he got to make.
Exactly.
But
the USA responded with it. They had like a dirty goal of their own there late in the period, and
that's the difference. I think the U.S. They scored the dirty goals,
right?
And when they had the opportunity to score where you would expect them to score, they didn't.
And I don't think they generated enough chances. Either Canada cleared the puck away or Binnington controlled the rebound, but I don't think USA crashed the goalie enough to get the dirty puck off the initial shot. Because they had the shots, but they were all from the outside, which allowed Binnington to make the save. Then he started feeling the confidence and to make those saves that he did on Austin Matthews in the overtime was just absolutely incredible how well he played. Yeah, Jordan Whittington. All right, so the funny thing is, so it's in the junior circuit, USA has won at the under 20. Yeah, we talked about that the last 2 years. This would have had a huge ripple effect on Canada had USA beaten Canada this year. I agree. I think Canada's still at the NHL level, still above. However, with this whole Canada's game, Canada right now, back when I was growing up, Canada represented about 90%, if not more, of the NHLers. I mean, when Bobby Orr came into the league, so a little over 50 years ago, there was only like 3 American-born players in the NHL at that time. Since then, right now, Canada, 42% of NHL players are from Canada. United States, 30%, up from 12%. You brought up Miracle back in 1980. Only 12% in 1980. So as far as numbers in the NHL, USA has caught up, pretty close. I mean, to Canada with the rest of the people coming from Europe. But with that said, USA hasn't gotten over that hump yet at the NHL level. Is it coming with the juniors and the goaltending coming out of USA? Again, nothing against Binnington, who stood on his head, beat the Bruins in 2019. But I still like the Americans' goaltending tandem of Hellebuck, of Ottinger, and Swayman, who didn't see any action.
And then there's other guys coming up. So that's the difference between the U.S. hockey and Canadian hockey right now in terms of growth. At the goaltender level, where in U.S. you'll see it from the young kids up. They split time. Right. You'll play the first half. You play the first. Up in Canada, they don't do that, and I think that's hurt them over the last, 5 to 10 years at least, where there's less quality goaltenders coming out of Canada than there are. Like U.S., they're producing them at a much higher level now because they're getting the playing time.
Did they go to the Finland school? Remember, Finland was producing all the goalies for a while, and Sweden to a lesser extent. But I think USA kind of changed how they develop their goalies. As you mentioned, everybody gets in now and plays. I guess in Canada, they identify the main goalie and run them.
They run them.
So the other guys don't get their chance. And USA,
it's just less opportunity to be developed at that age when it happens.
Right.
So, I think the U.S. will have the advantage in goaltending until something changes up there. But, obviously, the Olympics are the next, best of the best, if you want to call it that, right?
Right, and Mike Sullivan, the coach of USA, is going to be the coach of the American team. I don't know if every team did that. Like, I don't know if Canada's coach is going to be Canada's coach in the Olympics or Sweden and Finland, but I did hear that Mike Sullivan is the coach of the USA Olympic team next year. So kind of a tryout in a way. I mean, you're trying out every day anyway in the NHL, but he's also, I'm sure, checking on chemistry, on his offense. How did the goalies get along? How did Swayman react to not playing? How about Ottinger out of Dallas? How did he react to really only getting a spot start against Dallas, plays for Dallas, against Sweden in a game that ultimately meant nothing? Were they okay with that? Are those the goalies you bring back for the Olympics? So when we come back, I want to get into more on the Four Nations. I want to get into the McAvoy injury, the Theodore injury for Canada, how that affects Vegas, but more importantly to us, how this affects the Bruins. Is this worth having these types of tournaments going forward? I think I know your answer. I know mine. So if you have a thought on the Four Nations tournament or the Olympics or World Cup of Hockey, which just got announced for 2028, and these types of in-season tournaments, let's hear from you. 401-766-1240. We'll be back right after this on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, and WoonSocketRadio.com.
ON Radio.
The latest Buick and GMC models are available at Tasker Buick GMC in Woonsocket. Buick Encore, Envision, Enclave, and Envista are on the lot waiting for you to take one for a test drive. New GMC crossovers, SUVs, as well as trucks and vans are also available. Thinking of a pre-owned vehicle? Tasker Buick GMC has more than 900 in stock, many under $15,000. Visit online, TaskerBuickGMC.com, or stop into 55 Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. Tasker Buick GMC, you will be satisfied.
When you install a garage door, don't forget the safety factor. Woonsocket Door Sales suggests you visit their website at woonsocketdoorsales.com and read about all the new technology available to make your garage and your home safe. In addition to your vehicles, your garage may store valuable tools and equipment. It may also have access to your home. Their website also features a variety of designs and comments about satisfied customers. Woonsocket Door Sales in Cumberland, 767-3448. They install, repair, and service all types of garage doors for commercial and residential.
Since 1948, their motto has been to give every customer the very best in quality service as well as attention to detail. And that promise continues today at Michaud's Auto Body, a modern 5-stall facility with the latest in technology. Michaud's Auto Body knows that following an accident, you need reassurance about the entire process, including reports, insurance, rentals, and more. Their promise is to give each person all that they are paying for, and then some. Michaud's Auto Body on Privilege Street, Woonsocket, 769-1983. Looking to beautify your property this fall? Look to A.J. Moran for stonework patios, steps, walkways, plus retaining walls. Looking to beautify your home this fall? A.J. Moran can put veneer stone right on your house to have beautiful looking stone. And if that's not what you want, A.J. Moran can rebuild indoor fireplaces with veneer stone. It's real natural stone. Check out what they can do online, ajmoraninc.com. A.J. Moran.
And welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. We are talking Four Nations hockey tournament, and we do have a caller on the line. Let's go to the call. Hello, are you there?
Hey, Pat. Hey, Kevin. It's Joe.
Hey, Joe. How are you?
We're doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's going on?
In terms of the Four Nations tournament, and we've all heard this. Okay, we lose it. We win as a team and we lose as a team, right?
Correct.
All right. With that being said, I don't know if you covered this, but who on the USA team left Connor McDavid all alone in the slot, the best player in the world, to take the winning shot?
Yeah, it would be the best American player.
What I had heard on that, Joe and Pat, I don't know if you heard any more. USA took a bad icing previous to that, and when you take an icing, and they were playing by NHL rules, so when you take an icing, the other team can change up their lines and put the best player in the world on. USA could not match up and take the line, so they were in their defensive zone with their third line, and
but no one was on them.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's still an issue that nobody was on them, but just so you know, it wasn't a good line matchup.
Well, okay, but fine.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
someone
you can't.
Should have had him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's Austin Matthews. He
was still sulking from not scoring a minute
no
earlier.
Communication. You got two guys going in the corner, and you're leaving the best player in the world untouched,
wide open,
and unmarked.
Yeah.
It's a miscommunication of guys that really haven't played well together, or played that much together.
I mean, he scores on that play 99 times out of 100.
Yeah, you can't.
So yeah, it's unfortunate, but that is the downfall of Austin Matthews. Everyone says it, like he's not a good defensive player. He doesn't play in all three zones. He's a great offensive player,
right?
but he
So he blew the assignment.
he blew the
basically it.
assignment.
Yeah. So.
Okay. All right.
All right, Joe. I think I actually got another call.
All right. Go to your other call.
All right. Thanks for
Joe.
calling in, Joe.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hello. You're in the Chief Seats with Pat and Kevin.
Good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, Moose. How's it going?
All right, guys. How about yourselves?
All right.
We're good.
We're good.
Okay. It's, this topic's Four Nations again, and a heck of a tournament. I must say that. Again, I didn't like the timing, but the play was superb. That is what you call a grade A double, whatever you want to call it, plus hockey.
Yeah, good.
Very
Best of the best
entertaining.
brings out the best in everyone.
Yeah.
Well, very entertaining. The crowd was delighted, and they were into it. A real spectacle, to say the least.
Yeah.
But on the winning goal, look, and I can understand what Joe's saying, and everybody how could be left wide open. McDavid's the best player in the league.
Yep.
Right.
This guy is unmatched. It's like he's from another planet the way he skates.
No, and they're calling that his signature moment now. He hasn't had that with Edmonton getting bounced in the Stanley Cup last year. Connor McDavid hasn't had that signature moment, and that's basically now his signature moment, something that'll be on the highlight reels for years to come up in Canada for sure.
Yeah.
And he even admitted himself. He said, I didn't play that well. He said, I didn't play. He said, I didn't have a very good night.
Yeah.
But he's a player that you can watch.
That's
and
right.
sometimes when you see him pick up the puck and pick up his speed, you almost go, he's scoring
He's
right here.
sensational. He's sensational.
Yeah. So, and there are very few players out there that you can say that about. But him and
I wanna
McKinnon
ask you-
are probably two of the
McKinnon.
players.
McKinnon's so
yeah.
good, yeah.
I want to ask you something really quickly
Sure.
about McAvoy. I found out something very strange that I'm not sure who reported it, some analyst or
Yeah.
there's some reporters reporting on the condition of McAvoy when he had that severe injury to his shoulder. The first report says he had a broken clavicle, which means a broken collarbone, and that he developed an infection. And then somebody said that when he was pulled out of the hospital, I said, what? I said, he's out of the hospital. So, well, they did some kind of operation to relieve the infection. I'm saying, you can't do that to myself.
Right.
You can't do that. You need some kind of antibiotics to get the infection out before you're doing the operating. That's in anything. Don't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about. I didn't hear about an operation. I did hear about the infection. I did hear, and one thing was a little weird. I heard that he hurt himself in the Finland game, and then he delivered the best hit of the tournament, not counting the fights, against Connor McDavid in the Canadian game.
Yeah.
And he had, and they actually, credit him being a tone setter.
Yeah.
Then they're cursing, the Bruins are cursing the Minnesota Wild athletic, the training staff for misdiagnosing the infection.
Letting him play. Yeah.
I did not hear about a clavicle or.
What's the latest on him, guys?
Yeah,
What's
what
the
have you
latest
heard?
on him? Is he going back to the hospital?
No, he's out. Well, I don't know if he's back in, but he was out because he was at the game the other night. But I heard that he got injured in the Finland game. It was misdiagnosed. They froze the shoulder so he could continue to play. He received 3 additional injections before the Canadian game.
Cortisone, probably.
Which
probably something to freeze the pain.
one of the injections penetrated the bone, which is where the infection comes in to play. So my guess is that by watching him play that Canadian game, he probably couldn't feel his shoulder at all because he seemed to look invincible.
He did.
And then after the game and after everything started to wear off is when the pain set in and the infection started taking over. So
they're kind of blaming that medical staff and let him play, whoever that was, the guy from Minnesota, or the doctors or whatever.
I guess the guy from Minnesota doesn't have the best reputation either. I don't know if he misdiagnosed another Bruin player in the past. I thought I heard that, but I'm not sure.
So he wasn't diagnosed with the AC joint injury until he got to Mass General.
Right.
Until we get to Mass General.
So
this guy's got a lot to talk, a lot of explaining to do. This guy from Minnesota. This is not over yet.
Nope.
No, it's not. There's even a rumor that the Bruins may sue.
Yeah.
There it is.
And
malpractice.
And I don't think the Bruins are too happy with Don Sweeney because evidently he didn't let them know about it either, and he was aware.
Oh, I didn't know
it
that.
happened.
Oh, wow.
See the trials and the tribulations of having a tournament in the middle of the season.
Yeah, well, and then to that point though, Moose. I mean, the same thing's going to happen next year in the Olympics with 8 countries, and the same thing's going to happen in 2028
well,
with the World Cup.
Well, I said in my email, Kevin, it said the Olympics carries some kind of a special aura.
Right. Oh, of course.
You know. The Olympics are great. They're set aside from everything else.
Right.
All right, listen, guys, are talking up about Red Sox maybe next week.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll settle all of that.
Oh, yeah.
They'll settle all of that. I'm just worried about you know whom.
Yeah, we know. And I'm gonna probably after the next break, I'm gonna give you a reason why it's good right now to have Alex Cora as a manager, and you can either send me an email or call back next week and let me know if you agree or not. So
I might click off.
Sounds good, Moose. You too.
Bet.
The Mighty Moose calling in, and
Yeah.
thanks to Joe Callahan, host of Coffee and the Tiki Bar coming up at noon
That's right.
today for calling in. Joe, a huge hockey fan as well, so we appreciate the call. But just to finish up on the on McAvoy, the Bruins, Moose's point, doesn't like the in-season tournament. I've seen not just him. I've seen online. There's a few people out there. The interesting thing about this, it's the first time in 9 years that NHLers have been able to play against each other.
Right.
In a competition like this, the NHL, if you follow the European soccer model, you get everyone's heard of Manchester United, right? They're the New York Yankees.
Do you have to use Manchester United?
You don't like them? No. Who's their
Go ahead.
rival?
No, it's fine.
All right, I don't know. I don't know. Hey, look,
Manchester
you're lucky I
United.
know that they're a team out there, and they're not even in the English Premier League anymore. It's called the British League or BPL.
No, it's the Premier League.
Oh, just the Premier League. All right. Anyway, people leave. Now the people playing in that league make a lot more money than they do, or probably comparable to NBA money is right now. Maybe Shohei Ohtani money. I mean, they're making some serious money out there in those European leagues, the La Liga, the Premier League, all the other ones. They're leaving their teams to go play for that country. They're leaving Man U to go play for Brazil, in Italy, in United States, if they're good enough to have a player out there, Canada, in mid-season to go play. It's country first, league second. And I think I think the hockey players, again, it's on the world stage right now, more so than baseball, which will have the World Baseball Classic, but it's still considered an American, maybe Japanese game. Cuba kind of sneaks in once in a while with a team, but that's about it. Basketball, it's USA against the world. I mean, Argentina might be catching up a little bit.
France.
But it's USA, and you couldn't do an in-season tournament of NBA players representing France, Argentina, USA. Obviously, you can do USA, but who are they going to play?
Right.
These guys are in the best shape of their tournament, so it's country first, then league. And I like it. Pat, your thoughts on following the soccer model?
I agree. Kudos to Marty Walsh, who is the head of the NHL Player Association, for moving this down. I don't know if it would have happened, without him.
Yeah, the owners don't want
involved.
it. The owners do not want it. The owners are like Moose; they don't want it.
I think if the players didn't get it, it would have been a major issue.
Right.
We would have been heading towards a lockout again. I mean, they wanted this, they got it. It's, I think there was 9.3 million people watching.
Yeah, no, the ratings are through the roof. In Canada, they estimated over 25% of households were watching this. You're not going to get those numbers in the United States, but
speaks volumes.
It's through the roof. They just the NBA All-Star ratings, not that good. The NBA All-Star ratings up until the last 3 years, they always got over 6 million. The last 3 years have been below 5.
Yeah, it's just the difference now is it's almost like those, the All-Stars game in the NBA, the Pro Bowl. It's almost like a mockery of the sport.
I mean, well,
right?
The Pro Bowl is now flag football.
Yeah,
yes, it's
flag
an Olympic
football.
sport.
The NBA All-Star game, I didn't watch it, but I looked, and it's 4 teams playing a game to 40.
Right.
And then the winners play each other, in a game to 40, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like,
kudos for trying something new,
right?
But, I mean,
but you know,
and then they do now NHL when they do a skills competition, it's fastest skater, hardest shot, all their relays, things like that, featuring NHL players. NBA, you have let's say 30 teams, 15 players a team, 450 players, and who's the 3-time defending slam dunk champion? Some kid from the G League.
yeah. Well, he's on the. I guess he's on the Magic now.
Oh, they called him up because he can dunk. So
right,
it's
but
like,
he's. You know,
it's like calling up, Marcelo Meyer to be in the home run hitting contest this year in the MLB All-Star game with him still in Worcester.
right.
And because he hit a couple home runs and did well in the home run contest, the Red Sox decide to keep him. That's what
or they fill it with. No, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but they invited Caitlin Clark in for the 3-point.
Yeah, she said
no because she wants her first All-Star experience to be a WNBA experience.
Oh, okay.
So I get that. I think last year they had another WNBA player who went up against Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So I get it. They're trying to do some different things, but I look back when I watched it back in the 80s. When the 3-point contest and the dunk contest were the guys that were playing in the All-Star game.
Michael Jordan,
Bird,
Dominique Wilkins,
Elo,
yeah.
Detlef Schrempf were shooting threes. Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, Spud Webb.
That's right,
but he was
5'7".
in the game,
right?
And he did the dunk contest. It's not like they go, "Hey, let's bring the 5'4" kid up to do the dunk contest," because we want to be like the traveling circus.
So, all right, we're going to take one last break. When we come back, PK Subban called out the NBA as a former NHL player himself. And I do want to get into a couple things with the Red Sox. I want to address a future Moose concern about Alex Cora and why he's the right man for the job right now at this exact moment before the season started. So tune in. If you have any thoughts on Four Nations, though, we still want to hear from you. 401-766-1240. You got some initial Red Sox thoughts. Hey, give us a call. We want to hear from you here in the Chief Seats with Pat and Kevin. We'll be back right after this on OneSocketRadio.com.
The best variety of music. OM 1240.
When you visit State Line Services website, you'll see a wealth of information about them and the 20 kinds of specialties they offer, including cooling system maintenance, emission testing, exhaust systems, and computerized engine analysis. Because today's vehicles are a complicated piece of equipment with a network of sensors that monitor your vehicle's performance. In other words, you need an expert. State Line Service and Tire Center, 1209 Social Street, Woonsocket, at the State Line, 765-0146. New customers are welcome.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Service Master by Gilmore. From water and fire damage restoration to mold remediation and emergency cleanup, we've been restoring peace of mind for over 40 years. Now proudly serving all areas, including our newest service location in Rhode Island. No job is too big or small. Day or night, we're here for you. Call Service Master by Gilmore at 1-800-783-0552 or visit us at the web, www.servicemasterrestore.com. Restoration done right every time.
If you're celebrating a major event, regardless of the reason, Michael's Meats of Cumberland can elevate your next meal from ordinary to extraordinary with meats so good your guests will ask you where you got them. Tell them, Michael's Meats. Michael's Meats is in the Walgreens parking lot on Mendon Road in Cumberland, just north of the Ciabro Plaza. They're open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m., making your next meal truly special. Here's this week's specials at Michael's Meats.
And this week at Michael's Meats, they are featuring fresh grade A, average weight 3 to 4 pound whole chickens for just $1.77 a pound at Michael's Meats. Welcome back to the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan, along with co-host Pat Holland. Really quick on the Four Nations, wrap it up because I want to get into a couple things with the Sox. PK Subban, former Montreal Canadian, Nashville Predator. I don't know if it was a Hall of Famer, but real good, couple-year All-Star, basically called out the NBA on Stephen A. Smith's show and saying, how are these guys not even in there, in playing in the game? He didn't say LeBron. but he hinted at him, and then LeBron
Right.
pulling out 2 hours before the game.
Right.
Then the team picture, you can't put a uniform on. That got the ire of people. And then you got the guys, and then you got Charlie McAvoy laying out Connor McDavid. So it's interesting. I don't know if you caught those comments by PK.
I did. Yeah, I saw a clip. I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't watching.
Yeah, I didn't
but
see it
saw
live,
You know,
yeah.
I don't think I see anything live anymore. But yeah, it just speaks volumes of the difference in the sport and the athlete. And I mean, we've had conversations about these guys get paid, and they are they really in love with the sport anymore, or are they just
doing it for the money?
Going through the motions and doing it for the money?
Yeah,
and,
they're business people first and athletes second.
You got guys who are, as we mentioned, you got Tyler Kolek, right? Gets drafted. He plays a game in the G League. He jumps in a bus, a train, a taxi, and he's in New York that night, and he's in the lineup for the Knicks.
Right.
Do you think LeBron would do that?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I don't even think Bronny would do that.
Would do it. No, there's no need to, right, for them.
So that's the difference.
And
that's
again,
why they've lost the viewership.
Right.
It's it's not the game's changed a ton. I'll watch it playoff time.
But the NHL, they'll always be fourth. That's fine. But they do reinvent themselves here and there. They do this type of tournament against the owner's will, but the players push for it. The outdoor game, nice novelty, maybe a little bit oversaturated right now. There's another one coming up in March, but they are at least willing to try different things, the 3-on-3 overtime, things like that. Maybe even the standings change. We can talk about that. But all right, but I want to get into the Red Sox because Sox Nation. Happy for about 96 hours after they signed Bregman last week. And then Devers comes out, says, no, I'm the third baseman. And, the good ship lollipop has set sail, and Devers is upset. And now you got an overweight Devers possibly playing third. Second baseman Alex Bregman, who's never played the position. And you got the worst infield in baseball returning.
And you got Cuckoo Casas, who comes out and he basically says Devers is the best third baseman in the league.
And I have now looked at the numbers.
And I thought it was interesting that Cora just so happens to change the lineup yesterday versus Northeastern, and who's starting at first base? Casas. That says a lot to me.
The only other person to play just about every inning was Christian Campbell, who's fighting for a second base spot. I think they just wanted to see him, give him some more time. Nobody else, if I recognize the name in the box score, they got an at bat. But Casas was there for 7 innings, 0 for 3 against Northeastern. Campbell, also the same age as all the Northeastern players anyway. The funny thing is, you always hear to talk about who's the leader of the Red Sox. Devers doesn't want it. Devers doesn't want it. Here's the problem: Casas wants it, but nobody wants him.
Yeah,
to be the leader.
He's out there.
He's out there.
He's a unique individual, and I don't. To me, he hasn't proven himself anyway.
240. He's a good hitter. I mean, he was really good for USA Baseball. I think he'll be a real good MLB player when healthy.
He hasn't put it all together yet.
So this, one guy floated the idea of Devers, and I'd be okay with throwing Casas in maybe for Vladdy Guerrero up to Toronto. And Guerrero has said he can't come to a contract up in Toronto. He wants to play in Boston. Devers wants to play third. Toronto needs a third baseman. They got him under lock and key for another 9 years. And the guy was kidding when he said it or tweeted it. I kind of like the trade.
Yeah. I don't know if Toronto.
I don't know if Toronto would do it.
I would probably doubt it.
But they're going to lose Vladimir Guerrero
for nothing.
Yeah. So why not pick up Devers?
True.
And
Casas, who is still supposedly an up and coming.
Yeah.
First baseman. Maybe there's something to it.
It could be, and who knows if that in the long run if that would be a good trade or not. All right, so why? I told Moose I would say this. Why do I think Alex Cora is the right man for the job right now? It's because of this. Let's just say Cora doesn't re-up, and they got a brand new manager. And the very first thing he's dealt with on the day before spring training starts is your number one player saying, I don't want to play. No, I'm playing third. It's my way or the highway. And now you've got a brand new manager dealing with that. And I think Cora, do you remember when Butch Hobson was hired as the Red Sox manager? There's a big picture that if this was social media days, he's running with Roger Clemens, and Roger Clemens had his Walkman on. And Butch Hobson was trying to talk to him. Right away, they're like, Hobson doesn't have the locker room as the manager.
Right.
I can't imagine a brand new rookie manager coming into this situation. Day one, they got Bregman. Devers says, no, I'm playing third. I don't care what you do with him, but we better win. And I'm 20 pounds overweight, and my shoulder still hurts, but I'm the third baseman. I don't know how a new manager would deal with that. I think Cora will be able to deal with that the right way.
There's something to be said. Well, first of all, if Cora doesn't re-up and he's not here, Bregman doesn't come here.
They probably don't have Bregman, right?
I think there's something to that, but I think he is a player's manager. I think guys respect what he's done for the most part in the game, both as a player and a manager. Set aside the riffraff, right, that he's done his penance for.
Oh yeah, the banging on the.
But I'd agree. And I like how he's dealt with it. Hey, we'll let you play. You're the third baseman, right? Until you're not. Oh, you know what? You're not, because he's not gonna. I mean,
and how do you not present to him? You got shoulder issues. You keep hurting yourself in the field. You've led the major leagues in errors at third base.
That was a bizarre kind of interview with him. Where he was just kind of like even like you looked at the interpreter that you had with him, and he was like didn't even know what to say.
Yeah, you sure you want me to say that?
He's like he didn't have to interpret it.
Right.
No. I third base. Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, what he's trying to say is no. He said no. I'm the third baseman. Okay.
So it's he could be a good DH. They could even move him to first if they traded Casas. Again, I don't necessarily want him to get rid of Casas. I just think he's a nut job. But if he produces, I'm not going to care. And I love the fact that we're talking Sox in February, leading into March. I mean, it means they're relevant again. Last year they weren't relevant, and you got three hopeful stars to keep an eye on. Already, when you told me, I didn't look it up till right before the show. You were like, yeah, Campbell played the whole game. I'm like, oh wow,
Campbell played the whole game. Marcelo was in there. He had a
hit. He went 1 for 3.
Yeah, infield hit too.
Was it okay? Good. So it's
Anthony he came out, which is why Casas went in. But I don't know if it was just Cora's way of saying, hey, by the way, you're in with the college guys.
With the college guys going up against.
So know your role,
right?
When you get up and talk to the reporters next time.
So you got your thoughts. Give us a quick call. Where show's almost over. A couple other big things happening in MLB. I'm not a Yankee fan, never have been, never will, but I know a lot of Yankee fans, and I don't know how happy they are. Aaron Boone just signed a 2-year extension. Every Yankee fan I know really does not like Aaron Boone, and I haven't talked to them after hearing about this. Do you know any Yankee fans?
I do. My neighbor behind us, who we're pretty close with, he's a diehard Yankees fan, and
have you talked to him about this?
We don't let it come between us, but I haven't. No. I haven't yet, so I'm gonna have to reach out to him and see. But he wanted him gone
years ago, right?
Yeah, like 2 years ago at least. And now they're changing their policy on the facial hair.
And I was actually watching the MLB Network this morning, and I agree with I'm not sure who it was Scott Casey. I'm not sure. I agree. I don't think they should have got rid of that. It set them apart from the rest of the league. It's not a big deal, but when they input it in, you had Raleigh Fingers with the big handlebar mustache. That was what was going on in the league, and it was in the 70s, and George Steinbrenner put it in. And it's just, I always like when a team does, they're the only ones to do it. The guy did, Casey said the Braves do it in their minor league system, but not at the major league. Which I had never heard that before. So interesting, the New York Yankees can now grow beards and mustaches, kind of like yours, Pat. Well groomed
and longer hair. Right?
Oh, they can do the longer hair too as well.
I think it's.
So Johnny Damon would have been happy. leaving the Red Sox to go to the Yankees. So,
And,
Alex Verdugo would have been happy.
Has Verdugo signed anywhere?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I'll have to look that up. I know he's not with the Yankees anymore.
Yeah.
Pretty much
So it'll be interesting. I'm actually excited for spring training.
Yeah.
And to watch some of these games. I want to see how these young guys play. And I know I watched a couple clips of Crochet throwing live BP to Bregman, and he was reaching 99, 100, which is I say, hey, just hold off a little bit.
Right.
But and then even you got me into the college baseball thing. You got URI with a big upset last night over Oregon, who I think was ranked number 13 in the country.
Yeah. And for those that didn't see it, URI was playing William and Mary last week, and they were going back and forth. They were actually down 14-6. Then they actually took the lead 15-14, and then they had a 17-run fifth inning. But William and Mary, not to be outdone, got 8 back themselves. But imagine scoring 22 runs, and you got run ruled 36-22.
Right.
I think they should have different levels of run rules. If you lose it 20-5 late, all right, that's a run rule. 36-22 shouldn't be a run rule.
Especially when you've gone back and forth.
Exactly.
And I think they interviewed a couple of the guys at URI, and they were like, I think we could have probably put up 50.
Yeah.
The
first ever 50-50 game.
But so.
If you haven't given it a chance in the last couple of years, picking up ESPN Plus, college baseball, college softball at such a high level. It is both games so good. The hustle, it's really a good game. Yeah. You're home sick someday from work, and there's a game on in the afternoon. It's fantastic.
Everything. ESPN. If ESPN has done anything right and well, it's with that service where you can get everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get soccer, European soccer.
Yeah.
It's all on there. College, all college
all
sports.
College, everything. Right.
So yeah.
It's great. ESPN did just announce, or MLB, they will no longer be running baseball. Basically, MLB after this year. Saw Sunday Night
mutually
Baseball.
agreed to part ways.
I never believe that when they say it. But basically, MLB is mad that they don't run baseball tonight. They don't give. Basically, ESPN's giving baseball the hockey coverage. We'll run what we have to. No more at all. No highlights. Maybe there's an occasional top 10 play, but that's about it. Be curious to see what happens after that. They got the deals with Peacock and Roku and Amazon and the local stuff. So, but we are just about out of time. We could go on, but we can't.
That's right.
So a couple of things we want to get into in the future. RIFC is starting. The Revolution actually opened up.
Opening day today against Nashville.
Right. MLS might have a rival league with basically Rhode Island FC. Maybe we're not. I gotta
look into it a little bit.
Look into it a little bit more. We're working on the RIFC president joining us again in the future, and we also have a couple other big guests lined up for our future as well. So thank you so much for joining us here in the Cheap Seats with Pat and Kevin. I'm Kevin Callahan along with Pat Holland. We hope you have a great weekend. And thank you once again on 1240 AM, 99.5 FM, OneSocketRadio.com.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigation